Hey there, Meteorologist Valerie Smock. We are keeping an eye on the storm that we've been following for the past week. Yesterday we had issues with the cold and we were tracking the storm. Today, well, unfortunately it's still cold. It's just not going to be as bad. The wind chill advisory is not in place for today, but we are still keeping an eye on the storm again that we've been following for the past week. So I want to get right to it just to give you a better idea as to what we have going on across the area. So we do have some weather alerts in place. We have a winter storm warning out for Carbon and Monroe County. Everybody else is in a winter weather advisory, and that's those counties in purple. And now, just as of late, we have seen northern Clinton and Lycoming County, as well as Potter and Tioga County, now under the winter storm warning. So that has just been updated that we have northern Clinton, Lycoming, Potter, and Tioga County in a winter storm warning. So here's what we're seeing in terms of snowfall totals. Now I'll go through this twice for you just to give you a better idea in case somebody misses it the first time. But we'll generally be looking at around 2 to 5 inches of snow for most of the viewing area. For the 3 to 7, that's primarily where we're seeing that now winter storm warning. Northern Clinton, Lycoming, Western Bradford, Potter, and Tioga County. And that's where we're likely to stay as just all snow. So we're starting off the day just fine. In fact, we're starting off with some sunshine, temperatures warming in the mid to upper 20s. And then that snow starts to develop from the south, and it will snow steadily for several hours before that changeover happens. And that's when things get a little tricky trying to determine just when and where that changeover occurs. But that's why those snow totals will be held down just a bit in that 2 to 5 inches because of that snow and sleet. Do keep in mind within those ranges, the highest elevations see the higher end totals. This is the storm. Seems to be pretty massive. It's across the deep south, across the southeast, and it continues to move north here as we've gone through the morning. It's now pushing into Virginia and southern West Virginia. It's in Kentucky. So we are next in line to really be seeing the storm once it gets through Maryland. Here's what it looks like from the People's Security Bank camera in downtown Scranton, high atop Courthouse Square. Doesn't look too bad. We're actually getting a decent amount of sunshine. Still cold, needless to say, but it doesn't seem like we're going to have anything coming through later today, but we are. Current temperatures sitting in the single digits above and below zero. We have made it now above zero in Scranton. We are at 4. Still 2 below zero in Hawley, Forkston, 4 below zero in Lenox, 1 below zero in New Milford. Our warmest spot all morning has been Nescopec, sitting at 8 degrees. We are at 3 in Danville, Williamsport, and Towanda. Now, I'm showing you the wind speed map just to give you a bit of a difference to where we were yesterday. Now, yesterday we had been dealing with winds sustained into the teens, at times into the 20s. Today, it is not as windy, so the wind chill is not going to be as much of a factor as to what we had yesterday. Now, anytime you do have winds up to 5 miles per hour or higher, that wind chill does start to be factored in. But right now, should not be a big concern. Wind chills are going to be staying in the single digits above zero. So right now our air temperature is 4. That's exactly what the wind chill is going to be because that wind is not a factor. And your wind chill is actually going to be getting back into the teens and eventually the 20s into the afternoon. Now, winds for the most part today, starting off on the calmer side this morning, but getting up out of the south to about 5 to 7 miles per hour once we head into this afternoon. So it's not going to be too bad. As you're planning your day, we will have temperatures that are getting back up into the mid to upper 20s. I am forecasting a high of 29 degrees this afternoon, and tonight forecasting a low of 25. But that is going to be rising as the night goes on. You do start off with some sunshine, clouds increasing through the day, and then there will be some snow that develops as you head toward the evening. For the Valley cities, it's going to start a little sooner for some other cities, which I'll show you in just a second. So for your Sunday, we are going to start off seeing some snow on places like Snyder, Union, Northumberland County. That's going to be the start of it around 4 o'clock into the afternoon. This is going to be moving pretty quickly. It's already by 6 o'clock, just a few hours later, going to be through Clinton-Lycoming County. It's moving into Sullivan County. It's moving through part of the Valley cities. So it's already through Wilkes-Barre, pushing into the Scranton area. Same thing, it's pushing toward Mount Pocono by 6 o'clock, and then it's already in all locations by 8 o'clock. That's very similar to what we had talked about yesterday. By 8 o'clock, everybody will have seen the snow. Now, here's what I want to point out. This is going to be all snow at the onset. So from when it starts snowing to about midnight, that's when you're getting most of your snow. So that's when you're going to be picking up the majority of your snowfall. So if you're going to be in that 2 to 5 inch range, most of that is coming in the early part of your night. By midnight, that's when we'll start to see that transition of sleet, freezing rain, and just plain rain moving in. That pink line is the sleet and freezing rain. Now, you'll notice it's nowhere near like what it was last weekend when we had just that big wall of pink coming in and just several hours of sleet and freezing rain. You could still be picking up around a glaze to 1/10 of an inch of ice once all is said and done. And the Poconos can actually, which is partially why they're under this winter storm warning, you could be picking up around 1/10 to 3/10 of an inch of ice once all is said and done. So that is going to be more of a concern at some of those higher elevations. So this is going to continue to lift to the north as you go through the night. So early hours of Monday. Now, by 3 a.m., you'll notice there's a lot of rain. The green is the rain, the yellow and the orange is more of that moderate to heavier or steadier rainfall. That's primarily along and east of 81. Now around Wayne County, looks like you're mainly going to be staying as some snow with a bit of some mixing in there as well, kind of around the Honesdale area. And then you look to the west, there's nothing happening. That's called a dry slot. And that's where you are going to have some drier air working in. So there will be, for a time, nothing actually happening. There will be some breaks in the action. You look even farther west towards central Pennsylvania, and it is staying all snow, primarily those same locations: northern Clinton, northwestern Lycoming, Potter, western Tioga County. That's why you're going to be seeing higher snow totals there, because it's going to be staying snow longer, and that's likely why they just upped it to a winter storm warning as opposed to a winter weather advisory. Same thing, you can see exactly where that snow line is exactly where our snow totals are higher. So by 6 a.m., we're starting to see that snow really still steady in parts of Clinton, Lycoming, Potter, and Tioga County, but everyone else is actually starting to have that kind of breaking down of that mixing of what we're going to see of that sleet, freezing rain, and just plain rain. So it's going to start to transition back to just plain snow, which right now, which has been pretty consistent, is going to be around 8 o'clock in the morning. So mid-morning, transition back to snow, and it will be primarily just some snow showers through the rest of the day. Once you get to about 4 o'clock, not much left over. It's actually really pretty quiet through the rest of the night, and it's gone, it's out of there by 11 o'clock at night. So your winter storm severity index, this is very similar to your severe storm index that will show you in the summer when there's severe thunderstorms. This is a level 2 out of 5 for us. Not terrible. This is not the heaviest hitting storm we've seen. It is just, it's impactful for you. So what we're going to be seeing is a level 2 out of 5. Now it's a level 3 out of 5 in western Pennsylvania because they are picking up more snow. The Pittsburgh area, I believe they're calling for about 5 to 9 inches of snow, and in some places upwards of a foot of snow the farther north you get. So they are going to be seeing some heftier snow out there, which is why they are going to have a level 3 out of 5 as opposed to a 2 out of 5. But farther west, the higher the impact, the lower to the farther to the east, the lower the impact you get. In terms of your impact timing, between about 7 to midnight, and you could probably actually change that to about 5 or 6 o'clock to midnight, it's a medium threat because that's when we're seeing I don't want to say all of our snow, but that's when we're seeing most of our snow. That's where we're getting most of our snow totals from, is between about 5 or 6 to midnight. Between midnight and 5 a.m., it's high because we are going to have that sleet and freezing rain coming in as well. And that's where it can be on the icy side. It can be a bit slick. So you'll definitely want to keep that in mind. Plus, at that time, we're dealing with some higher winds. I didn't get a chance to mention that yesterday, so I want to make sure I mentioned it today, that we are going to have some gusty winds during that time, and that can cause some blowing and drifting snow. We're talking some winds anywhere from gusts to 30, even 40 miles per hour, so it is going to be a rough go. Between 5 a.m. to noon, a medium threat. Things are starting to transition back to some snow showers between noon and 4. A lot of it is really wrapped up by that point. There are also going to be a potential for some power outages, isolated threat, but because of that sleet, freezing rain, that can cause some isolated power outages. You'll notice anywhere from the northern tier through the valley cities, down through Carbon County, down through the Jim Thorpe, Lehighton area, including around Hazleton as well. And this is going to be in the early hours. This is where you're picking up some of that heaviest rain. If you remember on Future Clouds and Radar, that's where some of that heaviest rainfall was going to be. Then by 6 o'clock, it's not going to be as much of a threat. Okay, weather headlines. For the timing, this is going to arrive by 5 o'clock Sunday. In some places as early as about 4 o'clock, but it's going to be around 5 o'clock on Sunday from the south, and there will be a few to several hours of all snow. This is going to be basically from when it starts around 4 or 5 o'clock in the southern zones through about midnight, and that's where you're picking up most of your snow. That changeover to sleet, freezing rain, and just plain rain will be, especially the farther east you get, that's what's going to keep those totals down. So while the totals are down, the winds are going to be up. As I had mentioned, gust in some places only about 20 miles per hour. There are other locations, especially in some of the higher elevations, where winds can gust up to about 30 to 40 miles per hour. What we can expect out of this are delays into your Monday morning commute, especially. It is going to turn colder because that high temperature on Monday, I have that is 38, but it's going to be dropping as the day goes on. We do have those lingering snow showers, and those will then be tapering off as we head toward the evening. So again, I want to show you the snowfall map once again. Around 2 to 5 inches of snow for most of us, but that's also when we'll have that mixing. We'll have that dry slot coming in, but we'll have that mixing of sleet, freezing rain, and just plain rain. Where you have that 3 to 7, which is essentially northern Clinton, Lycoming, western Bradford, Potter, and Tioga County. That includes Renova, Trout Run, Canton, Towanda, kind of on the edge, but more so leaning toward the 2 to 5 inches there. But Mansfield is in there, Wellsboro is in there. That's where you have the best bet to pick up 3 to 7 inches of snow, because that's where you are most likely to stay as all snow. Again, these numbers, they can be adjusted here and there, but right now we've been pretty consistent in keeping these numbers right where they are because we haven't really seen much of a change in that. But do keep in mind that anytime you pick up a lot of that rain, sleet, freezing rain, it can hold those totals down, but the highest elevations will see the higher end totals. We also have those winds that are coming in, so keep that in mind. That can cause some blowing and drifting snow. And the best advice is to delay your travel plans Sunday night into Monday morning if possible, because conditions will improve by Monday afternoon. As always, we want to see your photos. I did get a lot of folks sending in some cold weather totals this morning, or cold weather numbers this morning, so I really appreciate that. And we want to see your pictures. We want to see your snow totals once all is said and done. So text us your pictures to 570-826-1616, and then we can get those on air as much as we can. And I didn't get a chance to show the 7-day yesterday, so I'm going to do that today. So we have the sunshine to start today. Snow coming in late in the day, starting off around 4 or 5 o'clock to our southern zones, and then it will lift to the north as we go through the evening and into the overnight hours. For your Monday, we'll start off with some mixing, some of that rain snow mix, and then that will actually taper off to just plain snow showers. It is going to be windy though, and that high temperature of 38 is actually going to be dropping as the day goes on. For your Tuesday, partly sunny day. It is still going to be breezy. There can actually, I've seen some reports that there can be some lake effect snow showers. I think most of that's probably going to be up in New York, but a few flurries may try to work their way down, but I think most of the day is going to be dry and relatively quiet. Clipper system is coming through on Wednesday. There will be a few snowflakes, maybe even some snow showers. That's not out of the question. It will also be breezy again as well, but it's also one of our warmer days with highs near 40. Thursday, clouds, some sunshine. That Arctic blast of air is going to be returning, highs only into the mid-20s. On average, we're generally around 35 this time of year with 20s for an overnight low. We have 8 for an overnight low Thursday night and Friday night. It will be partly sunny on Friday, that sunshine coming back on Saturday, and overnight lows are actually a little better, coming in at 17. So overall, it is going to get quieter as the week goes on, but it is still going to be rather cold as well. So I want to remind you that you definitely want to stick with us on WNEP online, on air, on the app. If you don't have the app, you can get it from the Google Play Store. You can get it from the app store, or I'm trying to think, the Apple App Store. You can get it there as well if you have an Apple phone. But you definitely want to stick with us so we can bring you updates on this storm in case anything does change, because this has already started to move in a lot quicker than even what we had originally thought. We were at one point thinking that it was going to start to move in around 8 o'clock, and now everybody's going to see the snow by 8 o'clock. So you'll definitely want to stick with us through the app, WNEP.com, and also on air as well as online. And Allie is going to be here later today, and she will have the latest updates on WNEP. Thanks a lot for watching.